How to take your meditation to the next level. That is the subject of today's podcast. We're talking meditation and living abroad, living in Thailand. This is a podcast that was recorded here in Thailand with friend of the show, Brett Moran.
Hi, I'm Tony. I'm an author, presenter at Sky Sports, and years ago I went to the jungle and got ill. Very ill. So this is my podcast adventure to find more energy. It's packed with biohacking, science, health tech, supplements, and some of the most well-known experts on the planet.
This is something I spent 4 months of my life doing with electrodes glued to my head so that you can do a lifetime worth of meditation.
Decide what you don't give a fuck about, which is something you don't care about.
Some of it gets quite out there.
I had some stem cells sent up to my house that I had stored, and then I injected myself with mannitol.
And we even hack hangovers.
Alcohol is poisonous. So is water and oxygen in the wrong dosage.
So that's my podcast, Zestology. Live life with energy, vitality, and motivation.
Hello, yes, so Zestology is still on tour. I am still in Thailand, and fairly recently I got on a boat on my own, without the family, 3 days on my own, and went over to the neighbouring island to meet my good friend Brett Moran, who's been featuring a little bit on my social media. And he first came on this podcast in 2015. He was, I think it was maybe Zestology episode 15, one of the first few podcasts, but long time ago, and we've just become good mates. And I have to say, good mates with the whole family, and especially my son, who absolutely adores him. Brett came over to surprise him on his birthday, the day we went to go and see the elephants at the Ethical Elephant Sanctuary. And me and Brett recorded this podcast a couple of weeks ago for you on meditation and sort of living a different life, really. One of the things that I've just found for the last 3 months being in Thailand and bringing the whole family out here for winter, and this often happens when I'm on my moped, actually. I'm right, especially in the early morning when there's a beautiful temperature and the sun is coming up and you can smell the dampness in the air as you're riding along and there's nothing much on the roads. And you can hear the crickets chirping in the background. And I just pinch myself and I think, this is so good. It's like a dream. And I know that when I go home, it will seem like a dream. It will be incredibly fond memories forever, this trip. But we are only here for a few months. We're here for a season, and Brett lives here permanently. He has been living here since not quite 2015, maybe the year after that. We've been here a long time, and I can't see him going anywhere else. He's got a great life here, and he knows everybody, and it's the perfect place for him to live out all his values and his ideals. He's very into meditations, very into lots of sort of physical stuff. When I went to stay with him, we went for very long walks every morning, and then a plunge into the sea, and then a bit of sort of inspiration sharing, and he was helping me with a few bits of my business, and I was helping him with a few of the bits that I do more of, like selling books on Amazon. And I think you'll be able to tell, on the morning of this podcast recording, we'd been for a long walk and a dip in the sea. And so it hadn't been particularly strenuous, let's put it like that. In fact, I was so relaxed, I didn't really want to record a podcast when we started. I just wanted to have fun, but it turned out great, I think. You decide for yourself. If you want some inspiration, taking your meditation practice to another level, and maybe even move to Thailand, but you don't have to do that bit. Here is Brett Moran on Zestology. We are recording.
In paradise.
We've been hanging out together a lot for the last couple of months and talking a lot about how we're going to do a podcast, and we just haven't done it. And even now I'm like, yeah, but we could just go and have a coffee somewhere.
Have a coconut.
But actually, this is great because we get to sort of catch up and chat and hang out at the same time. We've recorded some podcasts over the years together, but this is the best spot ever, isn't it?
I think so, mate. I remember one in Balham when it was nice and cold.
Yeah.
This is a little bit different.
Just describe to people where we are.
We are sitting up a really big hill on a tropical island called Koh Phangan, and we are looking down at a bay called Thong Nai Pan. There are two people paddleboarding in the ocean past a little speedboat. There's loads of Thai long tail boats, very colourful, blue, green and red. And we can hear all the sounds of the nature and the insects.
Yeah.
But we haven't got a coconut, so it could be better.
And I haven't had a coffee yet, but I'm good. I'm good. I don't need one.
It is incredible.
I'm very energised when you walk along the beach for 2 hours and then you have a swim. And we can see your house over there in the distance as well, probably, almost a kilometre away. It's just amazing.
Yeah, and we can feel the breeze, the wind on the trees. It's amazing. It is amazing. So yeah, different than Balham, being cold outside. I think I had a hot chocolate to warm up. And you was asking me how cold it was. So now we're in paradise.
This is like, I have been apologising on my podcast for basically holiday porn for the last couple of months. And this tops the lot, because you've just explained it really well. I mean, it is an incredible spot. And how far, because we can see sort of mountains in the distance there, how far can we see?
I don't know, mate. I wouldn't be able to guess that one, if I'm honest.
5 miles or something like that?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, and it's just greenery.
Greenery of jungles and mountains, and then the beach and the sea in front of us. Wow.
I think this is one of my favourite things about this island, is because there's a law where they have to keep 70 or 80% of it still national forest, where you go over to like Samui, which I love, or some other places in Thailand, and you can just see it's just been built up so much with resorts or hotels. So here, apparently, they're keeping it like as much national forest as they can, so that's why it's still so green.
Yeah.
The ride here, what's that ride like here to my house from Tonga?
It's amazing.
Yeah, you should have seen Tony's face.
I loved it. I loved it. And then last night I did it in the dark, and I was like, it's incredible, but you don't pass a soul for like 40 minutes, do you, across the mountain?
Did you ever get the moment in your mind where it's like, well, if I do run out of petrol, I'm literally on my own here?
And then I had a moment sort of thinking, you're in the middle of nowhere, but Thailand is a very safe country. Yeah. And people are very friendly. Yeah. And I've sort of never not felt safe here, so it's lovely. And other places in the world, you probably wouldn't want to do that journey at night.
No. I think I've been here on and off for 20 years now.
Yeah.
And I think I might have seen one conflict between two people. And I'm not exaggerating.
Really?
Yeah. I've never seen anything out. Maybe it's just me and the vibration that I'm in, but I've just never seen anything like that.
Yeah.
And actually the opposite. Like I saw two girls had an accident on that road, and the amount of people that pulled over to help them. I've seen a young English fella fall off his bike, and all the lady boys in this bar came out to help him. So yeah, it's kind of, for me, it's the opposite. Everyone's like really trying to serve each other.
What is that thing that was just buzzing around?
It was huge, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You should have seen Tony moving around. He was like Muhammad Ali then, doing a shuffle, and there was this big stag beetle flying around his head.
It'll sound good on the podcast, though. That's the only thing that matters.
It was like a small golf ball flying.
Because we first recorded one out here in 2018.
Near Orion.
5 years, near Orion. And here you are still. In 5 years' time, I'm going to come back here, and you're still going to be here?
You said that on my podcast. We started my one yesterday, and you asked that, and it's good because it makes me really think. 100%, yeah. My dream has always been to buy some land and build my own house, and we speak about community a lot, right? And just have a few good houses and people around us. But I do feel like I still want to travel. I still like to go off, but I think this is always going to be my home and my base. But yeah, I'm also kind of, you made me think yesterday, just going with wherever the next step takes me. Yeah. So like, I've got my 5-year plan, but I also want to be present. And if I feel really excited to go off, like literally just booked Ibiza with my mum next couple of weeks. Yeah. Like I wasn't thinking about that until like 2 weeks ago or something.
Brilliant.
Yeah. So try to be in the moment as much as possible.
So we just recorded your first ever podcast, which I'm very honoured by. And we're in danger of just falling down a podcast black hole, really, aren't we? We spoke quite a bit about goal setting on that podcast, didn't we? And I think it's just interesting hanging out with you and seeing how you approach the world. We're so different, aren't we? And you are definitely quite right brain. You're very, very creative. You're very in the moment. I tend to be a little bit more logical and a bit more of a planner. And that's why these days, I've been doing this podcast so long, I just ask questions that I'm interested in hearing the answers to, and I hope that other people are as well.
I love that.
So I am interested in knowing, like how much do you plan your life? How far ahead do you think? Not just about where you're going to be living in 5 years, but any other aspect, from relationships to finances to charity to whatever it might be. Yeah.
I think when I was younger and I really first learned about like NLP, we talk about a lot, law of attraction and all of those things. When I got into it, I was like a kid in a sweet shop. And I loved it. And I was doing visualization every single day. I was writing my goals out to the T every single day. And then I think the more that I've got on with it, I suppose the less I do it as intensely like that. Now I've kind of really gone more yogi, and it's just like I really is trying my best to surrender to life and trust it. So I have a vision in my mind of like in the next 5 years or 10 years, I'd like to have a really beautiful house in Thailand with my swimming pool overlooking the ocean.
Yeah.
You know, I'd like to, now you've been helping me talk about like investments and finances. I've never really been that mature enough to talk about money. So now I'm actually thinking, okay, where would I like to be in 10 or 20 years with that? But it's funny because I remember a couple of years ago, I did have these thoughts pop into my head about money and investing. And there was another little part of me, it's like, nah, not yet. Give it a couple more years. Just enjoy Thailand. And now I'm kind of coming to that stage. Maybe it's an age thing, I don't know. So I would say I've definitely got a vision more rather than a plan, and it needs to be set out. Yeah. Even yesterday, though, when you was talking about the book, you know, I'm writing the book, and you was like, when's your deadline? And I was like, yeah, you're so right. Actually, it would help me to have that deadline because it's been going on for a year now, and I could have probably got it done a bit quicker. So I think I'm always just trying to find the right balance of having a vision and a plan, but also being really in the moment and the presence and letting the miracle or the wonder of life kind of like take me somewhere just as much. Because sometimes, I don't know about you, but you really have this plan. There's
three of these now.
Sometimes you can have a bit of a plan and you could be getting in your own way. Oh, I'm definitely going to make that kind of money this year, or I'm definitely going to write that book, or I'm definitely going to be in this relationship. And then you see somebody or you go for something and you kind of force it a little bit. So I'm trying to come from more essence rather than my ego, which is a lifelong kind of balance.
It is. And for me, I'm a good planner, but when things go wrong or when I get a bit out of balance is when I overthink too much and I don't surrender enough.
Yeah.
And I think I mentioned on your podcast.
Morning.
Hello. Sawadee Krap.
Nenglaba.
This was a perfect example, this trip, of surrendering.
Yes.
You know, we came out here with no plan, no house, no car, no school, and we couldn't book it in advance because we needed to actually see it, and then it all just slotted into place. But we had to trust that it was going to be all right.
I think that's amazing. Honestly, it's so inspiring for other people. Like you say, not everyone's going to want to live in Thailand, but there's going to be a few people listening. It's like, you know what? I'd just love to take my kid away for 6 months and just try that. Yeah. And I'd say go for it. So I really love that you did that, because that type that you are might not be that person that wants to sort of do it, but you've been travelling and you love travelling, like we said today on the beach. We love connecting. So to have more responsibilities, like a big mortgage, a child in school, a family and jobs and stuff like that, I think that's even braver sometimes than somebody that hasn't got all the responsibilities, that are more carefree and they just go off with it.
Yeah. Shall I tell you something I've been struggling with? Because I'm interested in your perspective as a master meditator. That's what I'm calling you.
Master meditator.
You know, obviously, you've been meditating for so long, and you teach other people to meditate now, and you teach other teachers now.
And we had a lovely one yesterday on the beach, right?
That's brilliant.
It was lovely.
Yeah, that was very generous of you to do that.
Oh, mate, I just love sharing it with you, honestly.
Yeah. And one of the things that I've struggled with more recently, I'm not struggling with much out here. I love it. But I love it so much that I sort of keep thinking, well, maybe we should stay, or maybe we should come back in September for the start of the school year, and how would that work? And all of that is taking me out of probably the best 3 months of my life.
Yeah, being in the moment.
Yeah, so I'm struggling with that because I keep forward sort of planning and thinking about the future when I should just be enjoying now.
Yeah, yeah.
So what's your recommendation there?
What would you say? What's the best? What advice would you give someone else?
I've been reflecting a lot on discipline, I guess. You know, when you are prone to overthinking or addictions or stress or being over anxious or whatever your poison is.
The thing is,
you know, being disciplined enough to say, all right, all the little things that make a 10% difference, I'm going to do those every day.
Yeah.
You know, and for instance, where my head was at before we meditated and after was totally different.
Different worlds, right?
Yeah.
And that's why I said that.
Yeah. So the discipline to come back to the practice.
No, I would just say like 10-minute meditation 3 times a day. 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes in the afternoon, 10 minutes in the evening. And I think that would really help your... Like in the first chapter of the book, one of the questions that I get to ask people is just, what kind of thinker are you? Yeah. So some people are really sort of in the past, they're ruminating over that stuff. Yeah. And some people, and me, I'm kind of the same as you. I'm a like the future sort of thinker, and I'm kind of like, oh yeah, probably not how you're thinking, because it is a big decision that you're kind of going through as well. But I try and ask people, like, where are you thinking? And if you're in the future and your past, you're not really in the present. And the monkey mind loves that. It's just constantly like, you know, ruminating in the past or dipping into the future. And I can only speak from my personal experience of having that committed discipline of not even just every day for 1 hour and like crossing your legs like a yogi, but just 5 minutes in the morning and then making sure in the afternoon I'll put the computer down and then I'll take another 5 minutes. Or even, oh wow, I'm with the child too much and Faith, not too much, but I'm kind of like getting, you know, I need a bit of Tony time. Yeah. Even doing that again 5 minutes in the evening. And I just think that those small kind of pattern interrupts actually help us then just keep coming back to the now, keep coming back to the now, keep coming back to the now. Yeah. And I think over a period of like a couple of weeks or a month, then you would see the monkey mind not be so either in the past or the future. And you said it yesterday, you said it beautifully. We spent about 5-10 minutes yesterday just relaxing. We didn't even go into meditation. And I think a lot of people try to get straight into the meditation. In my experience, I meditate for 20 or 30 minutes now, and a couple of times a day, because it takes me 10 or 15 minutes to stop bloody thinking about crap.
Yeah, it does.
You know, and then I'm like, oh, am I not thinking that? And I'm like, okay. So I really kind of like my meditation begins 10 or 15 minutes towards the end. So I say that because if you was doing it more consistently, then I think you'd go into meditation quicker. Yeah. Not trying to say that there's a race or anything. No. For all of us, including me, you know. So I would think you've answered your own question. It's just like more consistency under discipline. Yeah. Discipline to me is something I hated as a kid. My mum was so strict. I wasn't allowed out at certain times, and now I've grown up, I think discipline is freedom. Like discipline is the key to freedom. If I sit down and discipline myself to meditate every day, then I'm free. I think that's a lot of people struggle with it, right? Or if I discipline myself to go to the gym.
That's the other thing for me. The meditation, but then the exercise. And that is something I've got very good at here, just doing loads of exercise. And if you're feeling crap, you will feel different after going to the gym. And there's so much science. There is so much science to prove that it works as well. But we don't need the science. It just works, doesn't it? It just, you know,
you feel it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Did that answer your question?
I think so, yeah.
Today's podcast is brought to you by Bond Charge. I have wanted to team up with them for so long because it's such an easy sell for me. You know, when you use a company's products, it's just very easy. And I've been on board with blue light blocking glasses ever since I was told about them. I think Luke Story told me about them about 7 or 8 years ago. And Bond Charge make beautiful blue light blocking glasses for nighttime. If you go to bondcharge.com/Tony, then you can see their nighttime glasses, their daytime glasses, their computer glasses, their sunglasses, and then they've got a load of cool other stuff as well. Red light therapy, blue light blocking, lighting, blackout sleep masks, EMF and radiation blocking as well, all in the name of better sleep and better health. What I think they've done is they've just sort of taken all these concepts of good health and they've said, we're going to do this properly. If you go to their site, you just know they do it properly. They ship worldwide. They ship to the US and the UK. You can use the code TONY20 for 20% off absolutely everything. And check out the company because it's a really cool company. They're on a mission to optimize people's sleep, well-being, and recovery. But what they want to do is they use products that are science-based and rigorously tested. So go to bondcharge.com/Tony, see a big cheesy picture of me on there, and you'll also see the discount code 20% off using the code TONY20. And I do think the glasses are a bit redder than other glasses, which is brilliant. So the last hour before bed, I think it's really good to just block out all the light. I love them. Tony20, bondcharge.com/Tony. Now back to the show.
I was just thinking about, there's a concept in NLP known as timelines. Okay. And some people are what's called through time and some people are in time. And what you do is you ask someone to draw a line, an imaginary line of where they think the past is and where they think the future is.
Nice.
And some people draw it left to right. Some people draw it with the past behind them and the future in front of them. Yeah. How would you draw it?
I would have said left to right.
Left to right.
So left is the past, right is the future. Okay. Yeah, what does that tell me?
I think that would mean you are through time.
Okay.
I actually imagine that you might draw it because you're so present and in the moment. Yeah. You might draw it with the past behind you and the future in front of you. Yeah. But what's hilarious is some people draw these crazy wiggly lines with the past off to the left and the diagonal line up and then a bit of a squirt round there to the right.
But just to clarify, what does that mean then? If I am the through time, what does that actually mean?
It should mean that you are good at not just being... So through time might be very good at being... Sorry, in time, with your past behind you and your future in front of you, might be very good at being in the moment, but not so good at forward planning.
Okay, yeah.
But when you're through time and you're looking at your past to the left and your futures to the right, you are able to get a big picture better. Yeah. And knowing what I know about you, that actually does make sense because while you are very in the moment, you're very creative, and here you are living on a tropical island, teaching people how to meditate. you're also very good at getting stuff done.
Yeah, that does explain me, yeah. And kind of going back to what you said earlier, I can zoom out and go, okay, be in the present, like you, like, okay, you don't have to make that decision at the moment about whether you're coming back in September.
Yeah.
It's definitely lingering in the mind, but why not enjoy this moment right now? And then when you get home and you're in the shower, you know, back in the UK, and then it's just going to hit you then. But trying to do, like, I love what you said, trying to do it now maybe, or just even watching the mind going off, probably isn't the best use of being here, because you're missing the moment now, if that makes sense. So it's nice to have that zooming out and that future pacing and vision. But also I think the reason why I'm so encouraging meditation and encouraging like being in the moment is because all I've found over the 20 years of meditating is that is the best buzz in the world. Like, you're not going to be happy in the past or in the future. It might feel like that, but then if you're always planning that or focusing it, you're never really in the moment. And I've just found that when you really are in that present moment, like we got yesterday, like, wow, the colours are a bit brighter. Wow, I can hear the children laughing a little bit more. Oh, wow, I actually feel good. Like, you know, anxieties and fears and stresses, they're physical reactions in the body. There's no denying that.
Oh, absolutely.
But they've come from us thinking about something, whether we actually hear the thought or it's at a very deep unconscious level, which was traumatized and imprinted like 20 years ago. It's still, we've left a moment for maybe a split second. And so for me, it's like, how do you master yourself in the present moment? And then when you do that, you are free. And I think we all want freedom.
And what demonstrates that is the fact that there we were sitting on that rock, and after we finished the meditation, I just know my body was in a different position. And I was talking at a different pace. And I was seeing colours brighter, and I felt more relaxed. I was probably breathing slower as well.
Finally stopped talking for once.
Exactly.
Joking.
I was mentioning to you the heart rate and heart rate variability are really interesting indicators of where people's health is at. For instance, out here I can measure all sorts of things, like when I go and get a massage in the evening, my heart rate variability is better overnight. And that's a good sign if your heart rate variability goes up, or if your heart rate goes down. And as a pattern, having been out here for a couple of months, my heart rate stats are so the best they've ever been. It's like, it's annoying, because I'm working hard in London at all this stuff as well, but the grey and the cold just doesn't work in the same way.
Environment is key, right?
I know.
And I love how different we are, because you've got all your gadgets and you've got all of your apps and you've got all these things. I'm like, I just feel good after the massage. I find that fascinating, how different brains...
Do you not track anything then?
Nothing. No, never.
But I haven't got an e-foil, so there are some gadgets that I don't have.
You can definitely use it, track that.
Exactly, yeah. I think someone once you can get a tracker for dogs.
No way.
So you can see how far they've run in a day.
Brilliant.
How much exercise they've done.
Just to let everybody know, an e-foil is I call it a flying carpet. It's like an electric surfboard, and it comes hovering out the ocean. We still ain't done that yet, mate. While you're here. I
meant to do it this morning, actually.
Yeah?
Maybe now.
Yeah?
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah, we could do.
So this, I was just thinking how different my podcast is to yours. Yours is a video podcast. Yours is releasing. We're going to release this quite soon, but then we're going to release another podcast of the audio of yours when it launches to celebrate the launch of your podcast.
And Tony's the first guest on my podcast.
I'm very honoured.
I'm so grateful, mate. Honestly.
What's the sort of the game plan for the year? Tell people what's going on in Brett World, because I know a lot of whenever I email people about what's going on with you, there's always a big response. So what's going on?
Well, I'm very grateful that these guys like listening to us, and I'm so grateful to be on your podcast, mate. You've obviously planted some seeds over the years with me getting to where I am in my podcast, so for me it was a no-brainer to have you on it first. So grateful to all of your listeners, and so grateful that I've been able to come on here and talk to you. And for Brett Moran, it's like just really maybe stepping into Brett Moran more, and now doing regular podcasts. Obviously we're not launching it, I don't know when this comes out, but we're not launching it for kind of middle of 2000 and what are we in, 23? So we'll be launching it in 2023, and then we have
music's on there,
music's coming on, the bars are live. You
get an idea, like
this is Thailand.
You can hear people sweeping up behind us.
It's brilliant. And so we'll be doing regular podcasts, like you say. We've got a studio, so it's more video and audio, and then we will have what I want to create is more adventures and fun and freedom. So I want to do the podcasts and our YouTube videos, but we're actually going to go off on little missions. So I'm going to do the dark room for 5 days with a camera crew, and then I might even be taking like ayahuasca or mushrooms, because I've got this whole thing about meditation and medicine, which I've never done those things before. So I just want to see, is meditation the way forward, or are all these hallucinogenics really what it says? Are they the right way? Or even we're just going to go, we've got a tropical island that we're going to go and
you pointed out this island.
I'm going to go and live on an island for like 5 or 7 days with with nothing, and just see how we can survive. And there's another one, I'm going to become a monk and shave my hair off and just become a monk in the temple and stay there maybe for a month and just like document that and see how that goes. So that's where we want to be maybe in the next year. And all of the things that we're doing now, from podcasts and interviews like you, is to sort of like start creating regular content. So then when we go off and do these adventures, we've got the regular content going out. And I suppose the whole reason why to do all of that is just to show people that there is another way if you want it. If you enjoy the 9 to 5 and working in cities, that's amazing. Like, enjoy it. But just to show people that if I can do something like this, like, I believe anybody can do it. Or if you could travel over here with your kid and take 3 months out of the busy life, like, anyone can have a go if they want to. Doesn't mean to say it's going to be permanent or you're going to live here, but just to show that, you can make a choice. Life, I think, is a celebration. I get that so much more from living in Thailand. I feel like the joy or the miracle of life has kind of been missed a little bit, and I just find that sad. I'm like, no, this is amazing. This is an adventure. Yes, make some money. Yes, be sensible. Yes, have a business, but also just have a lot of fun. And I get that from your son Stan. Like, I love being around him because he's so innocent. He's so in the moment. I can make up a little story. He loves it. I'm in that world with him, and we're just free, from the adult stuff for a while. So I just want to remind people that his life is a celebration more than anything.
Did I tell you about the imaginary stories that I do every night with him?
Yes, you did, I love
There's a rat called Blim. He's his best friend. It's always the same sort of general themed story every night. There's always a dragon that comes to try to eat Blim.
I love it.
Stan always is the hero of the day.
It's so good for kids, right?
Yeah, it is,
And adults, I'm sure you're so free in the moment. I see you. I love watching you as a father.
Well, it's interesting how it fires both of our creativity, because often he'll say, Daddy, there's a new character tonight. And I'll be like, what's he called? And you can see he hasn't got a name in his head, so he'll be like, Nemo. Brilliant. What is he? He's a dragon,
Amazing. And then you go off from that, right?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful, mate.
So let me check how long we've done. Obviously, very high-tech equipment here. We've done 20 minutes. I've asked you loads of times what book you'd recommend and what tip for living with more energy. In terms of books, you are one of the most voracious readers I know. You read a lot.
Yeah.
So what is the book you're reading at the moment that is grabbing you, or you would want to recommend, or you think people would like?
I'm going to be a bit naughty because I think I might have forgotten. It's the 360... whatever it is, by Marcus Aurelius, The Stoic Way of Life. Ryan Holiday, is it?
Yeah.
I can't remember the exact title.
Yeah, we were looking at it yesterday on Amazon, weren't we?
Actually, I've got it on my phone, and it's literally one page, The Daily Stoic, that's what it's called.
Okay,
366 meditations on wisdom, perseverance, and the art of living.
Yeah.
And if I'm very honest, it's my poo book. So I have it in my toilet on my little bookshelf. And every time I sit down, I read 2 pages. Yeah. And so one page is a meditation, the next page, or one section is quotes from all of these Roman philosophers, and then Ryan Holiday gives his spin on it. And I must admit, mate, just that a day is absolutely life-changing at the moment, because it's like today is my day of like, oh, actually, I need to surrender and forget about everything today. And then tomorrow it might be, oh, I need to get back in the ring and keep on going. And somehow they just resonate so much on each day, and it's great. When I've had a poo, I feel great.
Well, a poo book is better than a poo scroll, isn't it?
Yeah, totally. I love that. That's actually brilliant. Yeah,
I'm going to put that on Instagram.
Yeah. Well, we was actually in a coffee shop the other day, and it's very rare to see it now, or maybe this is just me, but even here in Koh Phangan, we'd be at a bar, like a nice restaurant, overlooking the ocean, and I'm not exaggerating, probably 8 out of 10 people, there's a sunset. The sky's orange and blue and pink, the colours you've never seen, like, wow.
Yeah.
And there's 8 out of 10 people probably still be on their mobile phones, either taking photos or scrolling.
Yeah.
And when we was in the coffee shop the other day, the girl that took a photo of my book, she was sitting there just reading a book. And it really stuck in my mind. I was like, wow, sometimes it's kind of rare. Sometimes people are just really sitting down in growth. And her friends, all of her other friends, were just scrolling on their mobile phones. The juicer on now.
Well, it's all adding to the flavour. And then what is one tip for living with more energy? And obviously meditation is very much your thing. Is it that, or is it something is it e-foiling?
Well, I think I probably always take it meditation. So should I try and change it? So I think you felt it today. It is, obviously, if you're in London, maybe you might not be able to get into the nice tropical water, which is like a bath, but I think there's definitely something around cold water. Yeah. So we just jumped in the ocean just now, and it wasn't freezing, don't get me wrong, but there's something about whether it's being in the ocean with all these electrolytes and the salt and just nature, or maybe jumping in the River Thames, or putting literally, when I first started all this kind of cold showering stuff, You know, that was like 10 years ago, and I'd be at my mum's house and I'd just put the cold tap on.
Yeah.
And I would be freezing for like 1 minute.
Yeah.
And so wherever you are, in whatever environment, you can throw some cold water over your face in the bathroom, or you can just get out and jump in a river somewhere, or come to Thailand with us and jump in the warm hot water in the sea. Yeah. So I'd say something to do with, it doesn't have to even be cold, just something to do with water in your face in the morning just seems to wake me up. So that gives me a bit of energy to perk me up.
Yeah. The ice bath scene here is big, and that is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But as you say, sometimes I almost feel more energised from getting in the sea than getting in an ice bath.
Yeah.
Mate, as always,
Lovely,
amazing,
mate. Yeah.
Brilliant. We finally recorded it. I've been saying since January, I'm out in Thailand. There's a Brett Moran series of special podcasts coming soon. We've just about managed to record one.
That is the Thai thing though. Sometimes I need to go and get my laundry out, and it takes me a week to go and get my laundry. I'm like, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it later. And I'm like, Brett, you got to like try and be a bit more grounded.
You don't know how lucky you are getting your laundry done. Like, that is the one thing that just saves so much time, and they do it so beautifully. And I've looked into getting it done in London. I need another mortgage. All right, mate. Where can people find out, obviously, more about you and everything you're doing?
Probably best thing to do is just follow me on Instagram at the moment. So it's just Brett Moran, BRETT MORAN _.
Yeah.
And again, I am honestly so grateful that you say sometimes they send you messages.
Oh, they love it.
Yeah, I'm really grateful.
Yeah.
So thank you to everyone listening and sharing the love as well.
Yeah.
Thank you to you.
When's your retreat?
We've got a retreat in the UK, which is the 18th of April.
Yeah, if I could have come to that, I would have.
Yeah.
But it's only a few days after we get back. But that's going to be amazing. And I'm going to bring this out before then.
Okay, so it's a four-day meditation retreat. We've got ice baths there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got meditation, yoga, and it's just really a reset and a recharge. If you feel like a bit burnt out, a bit tired, and you just want to just come back to yourself, or even maybe just, like you said, stop overthinking, it's probably the best place to go for a couple of days. Yeah. And it's in Essex, all in the nature. And again, just message me on Instagram, and we'll give them a discount for being a Tony follower for Zestology.
Yeah, and I have to say, I think to anyone listening, spending a few days in Brett's company, you will feel very energised, and combining that meditation, how I felt yesterday afterwards, with all the ice baths and everything else, be so much fun.
Yeah, appreciate that, mate.
And I guess a sense of community as well, hanging out with other people,
friends,
for a few days. Yeah.
But yeah, I just want to say that as well. Likewise, I get just as much as it's reciprocated. Is that the right word? Yeah. So I just love being around you as well, mate. Yeah.
Thank you, mate. Thank you. All right, let's go and get coffee.
Done.
Thank you, Brett. Thank you for listening, and thank you to my podcast partners, Bon Charge. And you can head to boncharge.com/Tony for all their products, including all their red light products, which are absolutely superb. I mean, it's a biohacker's paradise, but the red light products are particularly good. They've got loads of different types of lenses and glasses, and they have daytime blue light blockers, evening blue blockers, I can't even get the words out, blue light blockers, and then nighttime blue light blockers as well. And the nighttime ones are the ones that I've brought to Thailand and I love. They're a bit redder than other blue blockers. They are definitely better quality than other blue blockers as well. And so they just genuinely block out everything. And if you haven't got blue blockers by your bed, do you know something that's quite annoying here? When I go to the bathroom, if I go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, there's a bit of light that comes in from the window. So what I do, and this is probably too much information, is if I go to the loo in the middle of the night, I'll put on my Bon Charge blue blockers, go to the loo, and then go back to bed and take them off again. And then I won't interrupt my melatonin production in the middle of the night. And I do think that makes a massive difference. You know, when someone sort of shines a torch or turns on a bright light in the middle of the night, that is an absolute killer for your melatonin levels, and you don't want that to happen. So the Bon Charge products can help with that, and I know that they make them in Australia. They don't get them made in a very, very cheap country in a very, very cheap way. They get them shipped all over the world, and if you go to boncharge.com/Tony, you can get 20% off using the code TONY20. My time in Thailand has almost come to an end. So it is possible that the next time you hear from me, I will be back in the UK. I am looking forward to lots of things in the UK, not least seeing friends and family. I think that's the thing I'm looking forward to most. But I will miss the lifestyle here, the outdoorsiness, just the sheer heat. I mean, it shouldn't matter that much to live in such a lovely, warm country, but I love being bathed in heat. And right now I am sweating. I mean, it's 8:30 at night and I'm hot. But I like living in this heat, and I could live here more permanently, well, certainly in this heat. But I'm very much looking forward to being home. I've got some fun Zestology interviews lined up for when we're back as well, and all sorts of fun stuff coming on the podcast over the next couple of months. I will be recording live, as it were, podcasts at Glastonbury in June, at the Health Optimization Summit in June, and loads of other fun stuff coming as well. I may even be fitting in a trip to Portugal to record a live podcast there as well. So we'll see on that one. But when I say live, I basically just mean I'm there. But in the meantime, thank you for listening to Zestology. I do hope you enjoyed this podcast with Brett. I certainly did. And Brett's got a retreat as well, which I think we mentioned in the podcast. But if you head to Brett's website, then mention me and Zestology, and you will get some money off. And I did want to go to his retreat. I honestly think if you're looking for a bit of a reset, that is the way to do it. But it's so soon after we get back to the UK that I think I need to just sort of unpack. But I would highly recommend that one. All right, thank you for listening to Zestology, and see you next week.